that is one of the things I teach in the course is like, how do we find out more about ourselves as creatives so that we can service these people in the best possible way and it feels good for everybody. And that is a process of taking on different clients to figure out who and what is your style and who are you good to work with. Is it big corporations? Is it, me? No, I'm not working with big huge corporate companies. I like to design really conceptual and work hand in hand with the owner or somebody that's pretty high up in the company. And for the most part, small to medium sized businesses that are really heart centered and have a mission with them. And so that's where my niche is. It's more of the person and the client. So as a creative, I knew that I always wanted to run a business, but I didn't know the businessy things. I'm Kim Russo, owner of On Brand Designs, creator of the Profitable Brand Designer course. And this is my cute man over here.
I thought we were going to say handsome man, but I'm handsome man Jeremy, co-hosting the show with Kim, hoping to share some knowledge and laughs as we share our journey together as an entrepreneurial couple.
Thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey there, and thanks for joining us on today's episode. We are going to be talking about niches. I can never say it right. Niches. The riches and the niches. But with a twist. Talking actually about anti-niching. They're niching that time.
Anti-niche.
Yeah. So one of the things that I have, all the mentors and the trainings and the other courses I've taken, and some people telling you like the niches are in the riches and the riches are the niches. Or, you have to niche down. Well, I come from a creative background, own a creative business. I'm a designer. I like to try different things. I'm also a manifesting generator. So I need new and exciting. And so one of the things I developed was a client avatar. Today, kind of want to talk about is like the difference between niching, how far you should niche, what is really like, feeling what feels good for you as a niche, and when it's appropriate to really niche and when to pull it back. And so one of my biggest things that I talk about in the course, The Profitable Brand Designer, is client avatar. So we'll get into that in a little bit more, but there's certain industries, that require it. I also have two different audiences. One is super niched, one is client avatar. But at the end of the day, the one that's super niched is also could be not anybody in this category. It's a specific person. So why it's really important to understand your target audience, or as Patty Farmer, one of my clients and power partner, says, it is your target buyer. When she told me that, I was like, what? Like, totally new way to think of a niche. It's your target buyer, not your necessarily target audience, but like who is that person, and get to understanding that better than just
I think people try and niche down too quick too. I mean, if you're just starting out, what sense does that make to niche down so quick and say, all right, I just started this business and this is the only person I'm accepting? That makes no sense. And people out there, the gurus or whatever, is like, find a niche, yes, maybe find your client avatar, find somebody find somebody you enjoy working with, but don't pass up opportunities if you're just starting out, because you want to build your portfolio and whatever. If you're listening to this thinking you're wanting to be a graphic designer, but I think that goes for ultimately any business. Like, yes, once you start building your portfolio, you start to gravitate and you say, oh, I like working with this style of person. Okay, maybe I'll niche down. But if you're sitting there and you're starting to get clients, you're like, nope, that's not my niche. That's not my niche. That's stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, do not do that. I mean, because like, you have to build, you have to grow, you have to understand, like, again, what you're passing up might turn into your niche. So, you figure that out. I guess particularly for me, because I really, in the things that I do with insurance, different types of health insurance, I do health insurance for those under age 65, do health insurance for those over 65. And so, that's with the, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, and all the different types of insurances that gap coverage and cover different, what we call gaps, or, copay insurance and things like that. Like, I really don't have a niche for that because it's any senior over the age of 65 that needs help, because there's other things that I can do. There's other areas that can lead to other business for me. So for me to niche down, I mean, it really is not a, yeah, I guess a 65-year older market is a niche, so to speak. So, but there's just so many things that I can, what we call cross sell, across, meeting with someone like that, and even under the age of 65. So for me to niche down would be, not smart for me to do, because again, it's everybody has the need for what I offer. Everybody. If you've got an insurance need, or if you've got a financial planning need where you need to protect money and grow it for future, that's everybody. Okay. So for me to niche down like that, and there's other services I provide for businesses. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to grow, I've got something for that. Every business accepts payment card processing, or credit card processing, payment solutions, those things that I offer. So it's hard for me to say.
Yeah. Well, you could have restaurants be a client, but also like dental offices.
And yeah, there are like when you think about, when I talk about like the payment solutions offerings that I provide, yeah, you do kind of want to think, all right, bars and restaurants, they accept a lot more credit cards than say like maybe like going after a hair salon or something like that, right? So yeah, you could niche down like that, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to pass up opportunities to work with a business. Is like, hey, I'm looking for a new payment card processing solution, or I'm looking to delegate HR solutions to this. I'm looking to get rid of this position, these are also things that a lot of business owners don't even know they need. Because I think a lot of people get into business and they just get into business and they don't really understand the financial aspect of it, the shopping around for better solutions. Like a mechanic doesn't understand anything about insurance. They only understand how to turn wrenches.
Well, I think the niche is in the service and the offering that you provide. So like the niche that I'm providing is somebody who's looking for, an opportunity to build their brand, create a logo, create a website, graphics and marketing materials to go along with like that. That already is a niche itself. Like right. The person that is looking for that service, that's your niche right there.
Yeah.
Somebody who is looking for, Medicare or health insurance, like that is your niche to start with. Because again, like as you're building out your portfolio or your business, to say, okay, I did one hairstylist client and I only want to work with hairstylists. Well, it's going to be a lot for you to build your portfolio on just hairstylists alone. So you've got to put it out there. And so what I teach in the course too, the Profitable Brand Designer, is how to really go after that client avatar, but still figure out within a range. So, for me, I would say if I had to call it a niche, it would be the health, wellness, lifestyle coaches, consultants. Also product, like a lot of female entrepreneur owned businesses is a lot of where I work with. But I also have, male clients in certain projects that I like to do because it helps create the creative juices flowing and gives me variety, but also like pushes my creativity and expands my knowledge of how to help other businesses. And like, I feel since owning my business, for lack of a better word, much smarter because I'm able to help with more impact because I'm learning each new project I get and it's exciting to me. But also I can serve this client based off of an experience I have with this client. So each time I'm learning something new and expanding and making it such a better experience and offering so much more value to my clients. But one of the things that we do teach in the course is, okay, you want to figure out what is it that you're good at. There's a style too. Like, I think when it comes to being a creative, it's really hard for me if somebody were to come to me for like a club flyer, which I have before in the past, or like a video game thing, super highly illustrative. That's just not my style. So it's more so like, not necessarily a niche, but it's a style. So let's figure out who I like to work with. So that's that health, wellness, lifestyle. I'm into fitness, so I like to do fitness like stuff. But I'm into like whole wellness stuff. So I've got like hypnotherapy. I've got real estate agents. Like, but it's not the industry. It's the person that I'm working with. And am I aligning with like, every time I meet with somebody, there is a pre-call to working with them because you want to make sure that you're a good fit and that you can provide value and service to them and have it be a really good experience for both of you, and that I am capable of bringing this person, this ideal client's vision to life. Now, it is important to figure out who that is, and it is a process you have to learn, and that is one of the things I teach in the course, is like, how do we find out more about ourselves as creatives so that we can service these people in the best possible way and it feels good for everybody. And that is a process of taking on different clients to figure out who and what is your style and who are you good to work with. Is it big corporations? Is it, me? No, I'm not working with big huge corporate companies. I like to design really conceptual and work hand in hand with the owner or somebody that's pretty high up in the company. And for the most part, small to medium sized businesses that are really heart centered and have a mission with them. And so that's where my niche is. It's more of the person and the client. And also, there are these design companies that will only do, let's say, and I'll give actually a real life example. So I had a client who had a oral surgery clinic, and one of their issues to coming to me is they went to one of those companies, and I actually have a current client right now that's a different industry, but same type of company, that they advertise, we only do websites and marketing and design for oral surgeons or for schools or whatever it is. They only do that one niche, that one category. But what's happening, what I'm seeing, is there's a lack of creativity.
Cookie cutter.
It's so cookie cutter. They're making so much, and these clients are feeling ripped off because they're getting something that is really not as customized and specific for them, their location, their people, their audience. They're not doing the strategy work. They're just putting it together all the same ways. They're using a copy and paste template. They are, the heart center and the strategy is missing. And so then what's happening is they're also getting something that's not original. So their identity and their logo is very similar to somebody else's. Their names, they're looking at it from not a perspective of longevity and growth. They're looking at it from easy, quick, I can get this up fast and make money, instead of working with the person and bringing that client's vision to life. And a lot of the times they also end up holding your content hostage because they own it, because the way that they're creating it, they have to own it. And that creates problems, and that creates unauthentic working, in my opinion. That's just me. I would never want to do that to a client where they feel so helpless that they don't have a say or own their own site.
Yeah. And you lose the trust factor with them too, or that company in particular, I guess, would, where, they don't trust that process. And I think is one of the things that you're good at is like having people understand and trust your process of how you work with clients. So you give off you just have this natural way of giving off this, trustworthiness, and that's why people enjoy working with you and want to work with you. And you're very attentive to the details that you put into everything. We've mentioned this time and time again that you're a giver.
I'm a creative empath.
So. But I think it's important too that people realize that there's two sides of the coin, and you want to make sure that you're meeting both parties when you're going into an agreement to work with someone, that you're both meeting the expectations of the other person, right? So you have expectations of getting material to you to start, not dragging your feet, and making sure that you can both meet each other with that same level of respect on how you're able to work together properly. Because if you have someone that is, dragging their feet or, not being really receptive, not giving you everything you need, then
that's where you need to niche, is like figuring out who that person is. Is it somebody that is, like, for me, I've clearly identified that I need somebody that is, creative and knows what they want, but trusts me to bring their vision to life. And it has to be a collaborative process. And that's really important to me, is that it's not just like, I don't know, just do something. Like, there has to be strategy in it. There has to be a connection and a collaboration. There has to be me bringing something to life for them, and they have to be willing to invest the time and energy with me to allow me to complete this intuitive process. Like, it is a very intuitive process for me to create a design for somebody. And I think that's for a lot of creatives. Like, you get the inspiration, you get this drive. And if you're missing that key part of the experience with the person that you've identified as your person, it's going to set you up for failure. I mean, there is times when I first started and I had that whole freelancer mindset and I was working with whoever came and I didn't have this clear understanding, and it's still evolving as I get to, as we talked last week about getting to your deep why and the next level. It's that person is also evolving too. Now, that's not meaning that a hairstylist versus a therapist is where I'm going to lean towards one or the other. It's just, do I want to go to a therapist that is just starting out and has nobody and no idea of what they want or how to run a business? Or do I want to get to somebody that's like, I'm ready for the next level and I've been doing this, but I know that refreshing my brand and creating a new or updated website and really going back to this like core of the business and expanding upon it, like, that's who I want to work with. I want to work with the people that are ready for that next level. But when I first started, it was just like whoever, whatever comes my way. And so that caused a lot of confusion. It caused a lot of failed projects that, were some of the worst, not, I wouldn't say worst logos I created, but there was just nothing, it was just design. That was it. There was no thought or longevity or meaningful purpose put into it. Is because some of these people that I, just willy-nilly was like, yes, I'll work with you. Like, yes. They weren't in a position to, work and get a brand. And those are the people that probably should have waited, or, I also didn't guide them better. So after learning all the things, and that's why I created a course to help people like me to know what to do. But if I were to go back to some of those clients now with all the knowledge that I have, with all of the work that I've done, with how I've grown my business intentionally, there's a few people that I could go back and be like, why did I take that project? Why did I do it that way? Like, that's not my wheelhouse. That didn't come out right because I can't design a club card.
Yeah, and I think that adds more frustration to you, because if the communication is not there in how you're expecting to, run your business, and you do a great job of setting the expectations with your clients, but if they're not ready for that level of engagement, because like as soon as you would commit to a project, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then that's gonna trip you up. It's gonna frustrate you, and then you are looking back. You're like, why did I even accept that person as a client?
And they have to have the budget too. That's all part of the client avatar, like really analyzing that person. So again, you could say, we'll say hairstylist right now because I'm working on a hairstylist website right now. But like, that is my ideal client. But you could say the difference if you just say, I'm only working with hairstylists. Well, there could be somebody new come in and starting their own business, and they have zero idea what they want, zero money, zero clue. Yes, they may trust in you, but you're missing, there's a gap there if you don't have them, in it.
Well, as soon as I tell you they have zero money, you should probably just say you should come back when you got some money, because that's a pretty key.
Well, that's what I advise people, like, start making some sales, just put your name up, and then start making some money, and then come back.
Right. Yeah, so that's pretty crucial to have that set up. But yeah, I was really just waiting on you to continue, because this is kind of your wheelhouse right now. You wanted to talk about the niches and just everything like that. Well,
actually, you did a really good job of explaining before of like how you need to.
I probably did a pretty good job.
Well, like, if I didn't do that club flyer that I wasn't good at, though, that like to that point, I wouldn't know that was something that I just don't want to do. So
yeah, I think it's well, like you said, it's just. It's taking the time to maybe do a couple crappy opportunities and say, like, this really sucked, and just see how you felt when you did it. Because if you're doing those things that you have passion for and it really feels good and it doesn't feel like work, and then, like you say, you like to get in your creative space later at night when you're, on the couch and we're just chilling, watching some TV and not one of your little boo-boo shows that you like.
Listen, I have not watched Bravo since I moved in with you 2 years ago, and I was addicted.
Well, if I did anything right, that's what I did. I broke you of that habit of watching those shows because, good Lord, that's trash.
I like the real estate shows because I want an Airbnb or like a nice home and get
yeah,
ideas.
but those freaking shows are they're more drama than they are. I mean, show me, sell a house. Don't sit there and talk about your messed up date from the night before. I don't care about that.
That just adds a little spice
to
it.
Stupid. Those shows are so dumb. Where were we even going with that? But no, just you like to get in your creative space. Like, yeah.
Well,
so
that's also like understanding and discovering myself. So like talking about last week about feeling guilty for not doing things, I used to feel guilty for if I did ever say no to a client, like I would feel like, oh shoot, should I have done it? Should I have lowered my pricing? Should I have done this? Like there's a guilt that comes with it. And there was a big guilt with timing too for me is, when I would work nights and weekends before too and feel guilty for it, like I wasn't supposed to. Like I'm supposed to work 9 to 5. But the whole reason why I made a business is to have that flexibility. And when I did a lot of work on my human design and understanding, how I flow and how I can work, I realized like I could sit in my office, no calls, no like million emails to answer, crazy agendas or things like that. And I could just sit here and I'm not in the creative juice. Like I'm not in the creative moment. And so, but when it's like, and that it could be quiet in here too. Like, but when it's quiet and there's no pressure for like a meeting in an hour or, the need to, in a 9 to 5 setting, have to answer calls or emails or things like that. Like that's when I am just in flow. And so instead of feeling guilty for that, it's part of the whole self-discovery. And it does kind of tie into like your anti-niching, and niching is like really figuring out who you're supposed to work with and how. But like this is all part of it, like discovering yourself and working on yourself and releasing that guilt, because you know what, I just set my day up so that I can go in and plan when I could work on things and what weekends, if we have something personal come up, that'll come priority. Mm-hmm. But if we're not doing anything, I'm gonna just get creative and have fun with it. Instead of feeling guilty for working on a Sunday, I get excited because, I want to veg one day and get work done and I can't just sit there. So
yeah, you do enjoy that creative time and that's good. So
yeah, so it's all self-discovery and it's all things that I've learned over time and have accepted and actually lean into and figure out my schedule to work around that. So now could we be going to bed earlier? Yes. Sometimes I get 2 in the creative flow.
Yeah, I look up and it's midnight. I'm like, all right, that's last call.
That's when I'm like, wait, I just need to finish this. It's like when you're on it.
I'll meet you later. Yeah.
But yeah, so don't put pressure on yourself to get so niched. It's
you got to figure out who you're. Like I mentioned earlier, you got to start with the jobs that you just got to test it out. Like it's trial and error when you're first starting a business of who you actually want to work with. Yeah. I mean, kind of like flipping back over to me. I mean, yes, I say, this age range is who I want to work with, but if you're ornery or don't want to listen or, then that's fine. I mean, I literally present my whole business as consultative. So if you don't want to work with me and you feel like paying too much for insurance or not planning properly financially, then that's completely up to you. Like you're the one that's going to hurt in the end. And it's not, I mean, I don't say that as in a mean way, but I'm just saying like, if you're so high up on yourself that, you feel like you know more or whatever, well, more power to you. I mean, there's millions of people I could work with. So,
but before we leave, I just wanted to mention in the Profitable Brand Designer course, I do share the process of how I figured this out and how to define who your client avatar is and how to, especially as a creative, but anybody who does this, how to take on that initial work in the beginning stages to even help give you that clarity of, how little or how deep to niche and how to get that clarity of that client avatar. And we are currently, little preview, are separating out the course so that if you're not even a creative and you just need to know like what is the process that you did to help get some clarity on that client avatar, then you could just take that portion and figure that part out. So I really wanted to like split things up to really meet people where they are and what they needed help specifically with.
Great.
Yeah. Check out the profitablebranddesigner.com and there'll be more information to come there. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and good luck finding that client avatar or even revisiting who that is, because as we grow and expand, that person might shift a little bit. So it's definitely a good exercise to rinse and repeat when you're starting to feel like you need a little re-energizing in your business.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. We hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed creating it. Make sure that you follow On Brand Designs on all social media pages and on Instagram, The Profitable Brand Designer, to get the latest episodes, releases, and tips and tricks for brand designers. And also,
you can also follow us as a couple on Instagram at Profitable Brand Couple. That's profitable.brand.couple. So we hope you follow us there and like and comment.
And subscribe and follow us on YouTube to see us in action.
There you go.
Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.